Hello, this is Maggie. I'm here to talk to you about the new grants that are being offered by the City of Virginia Beach to support visual performing literary artists. In the Zoom session that I'm recording today, I'm going to show you how to locate the grant information, how to navigate the grant portal, and give you some tips for how to write a strong grant request. If you've never done a grant before, it can be really daunting once you look in that portal and see what you're being asked of. But hopefully this will give you enough familiarity with it that you won't find it too difficult to do this. So first, what is this grant? So the City of Virginia Beach is offering grants for individual artists to support our artistic practices. Um, they're offering up to $4,800, and it has to be used within a year of being awarded the grant. It's not a matching grant, so it's essentially money in your pocket, but it must be used for the project or the purpose that you propose in your application. And in grant speak, that's called a project, but it could be anything from updating your website to creating a new body of work, organizing an exhibition, doing some type of performance. If you're a performing artist, there's all kinds of things that the money can be used for. There's also a list of things the money cannot be used for. So be sure that you check the guidelines very carefully. And at the end of the year, a final report is going to be due explaining how you use the money. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details about the grant itself because I wouldn't be able to answer specific questions, but there are two workshops that the city is running to explain more, and that's where you can ask your specific questions about, I think I want to do this. Would that be covered? So the first one is December 11th, and the second one is January 8th. And on the page here, and if you want to screenshot this, you can. There's a link to the page about the grant, which I'm going to go to in a minute. There's a link to the guidelines, and I can't stress enough how important it is to read those guidelines and make sure before you start anything, make sure that number one, you're eligible for the grant. Number two, the thing you're thinking about applying for is eligible for the grant. There's nothing more frustrating than wasting a lot of time and then realizing, oh, this isn't even going to be eligible. And then finally here is the link to the portal so that you can actually do the application. And that's mainly what I want to show you today, because again, it can be a little overwhelming if you've never done this before. So the first thing I want to show you is the main website about the grant. So if you don't use one of those links or type in that URL, what you can do is search for Virginia Beach Cultural Affairs and then go to the Cultural Affairs page, which looks like this. And as you scroll down, you will see grant opportunities, and you can click on that to learn more. So as you scroll down the grant opportunity page, you will see some information. And then here you see grants for individual artists. Now I'm going to point out here the deadline to apply is 5 p.m. on January 24th. That is no joke. That is a hard deadline. At 5:01, your application will not be accepted. And it's typical that a lot of people are trying to apply, submit their application on that last day. And the whole, the website can get a little bit overloaded, and then you might have trouble uploading your application and submitting it. So I strongly recommend that you set a different date as your personal deadline and get your grant submitted 3 or 4 days ahead, or maybe even a week ahead. Don't wait till the last minute because you could end up having technical problems and it won't matter. Once 5 o'clock hits, that website will not allow any additional submissions, no exceptions. So pay attention to that. All right, the next thing you want to do is click for more information. So here's the eligibility criteria. And then you have this is the button that will take you to the application. I'm going to do that in just a second. And this is where you can read the guidelines. I'm not going to go through all that, but you can click on both there for the guidelines. And then this is where you see that these workshops are being offered. So the next one is Wednesday, December 11th. And then after that, there's one in January. That's where you can listen to more details about the grant and actually ask questions that are specific for you. All right, so what I'm going to do is take you, let me close this tab on here. I'm going to take you to the application. So you click on that button and you get to the portal. If you notice up here at the top, this was the grant opportunity page. Now I'm in the portal, the Foundant system that the city uses for their grant information. So when you're on this page, you could log in if you've already applied for a grant in the past, but if you haven't, you're going to click Create New Account, which I'm assuming is where everybody is right now. So to create your account, you're going to be putting information in, and then this information will stay in your account, and you can always go back in later and update your user information if you need to. So organization name, this will be you. Or if you have your business, your art business registered as a corporation or an LLC or something like that, it would be that business name. But if you're a sole proprietor, an independent freelance, and you don't have a business structure, you're going to put your name here. If you have an employer ID number with the IRS, you put that here. If you don't, you're going to use your social security number. Put in your website, put in your telephone number, your address. When you click next, it's going to bring you to user information. And this is where you'll put your own information in. So you're going to put your name, phone number, email. Again, the email you put in is going to set up your, that's going to become your username for the grant portal. We're getting back into it in the future. You do not have to do this whole application in one sitting, which is the nice thing. So you're going to fill in all that information. That's not very difficult. I can't show you because I can't do it unless I hit next. For the executive director or board president question, it's just going to ask, are you basically the leader of your business? And you just say yes. The additional information would be if you had maybe someone else that is a partner in your business, you would give that. And then you're going to create your own password so that you can get back into the portal in the future. So that's pretty simple. It's not too difficult to do. And really the only thing you need to have handy is your tax ID if it's not your social security number. Okay, so because I have an account already, I'm going to log in to mine and show you what comes next. All right, so when you log in, now you're in the portal, and this page shows different grants that are available. I think this is where I left off last time, which is why I'm here. You might end up on the home page, which is your dashboard. Okay, and if you notice here, my applicant dashboard has my business name, which is what I created my account with. I have active requests are 0, historical are 0 because I've never done a grant under this username before. So to get started, I come up here and click the apply button, or down here, because I don't have any active requests, it's the same button. So I can click apply, and now it takes me back to that page that we were just on. So I can scroll down and look for the grant that I want. This is the Creative Neighborhood Grant. This is the Individual Artist Grant. Now what I want to do, I could preview, and that's going to show me the questions that we're going to have, but I'm going to show you, oh, oops, I didn't mean to click that. I'm going to show you how to get the questions ahead of time. But what you do is click apply, and this now takes you into the application itself. So this is a live form that you're going to fill out with all of your answers. Okay. It starts out with your information that you put in when you signed up for your account just now. It gives you tips. And then right away, you get right into the questions. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few of those first, and then I'm going to back up from that and show you how you can kind of do some advanced prep on this without being inside the portal itself. So there are different types of questions. Some are radio buttons, like, have you been a Virginia Beach resident for the past 2 years? You click yes. This is one where you're going to upload a file. So it's telling you two things that you need to upload. And then when you're going to have to do that ahead of time, get a photo of your driver's license, get a photo of a current bill, and then you're going to click this button, upload a file, and it will take you to it'll take you to your list of your files in your computer, and you select the file that you want. I don't think there's a lot of stuff in my thing, but anyway. So you select the file you want, click upload, and it will upload it for you. Personal information, just wants to know what art form you are in. I'm sorry, primary art discipline. Are you 18? I'm going to click yes. Original work. Have I created original work for the past 3 years? Yes. So as you can see, then there are some short answer questions. You type those in. You put in your website, your social media information, your city council district. If you're not sure, you can click here to see the map to see where you are. And then I'm going to pause on this one here. So your artistic statement, you're going to type in your artistic statement. And notice that they're asking for some specific things. They want a statement that includes your artistic philosophy, your influences, and your creative process. They also want to know about your journey as an artist and how this grant is going to contribute to you. So those are 5 things they're asking for. Make sure you read these questions and answer all the things they're asking for. And you'll notice here there's a character count. So you have 1,500 characters for your answer. Now notice when I type that as I'm typing, the characters are counting down over here. When you get to 1,500, it won't let you enter anymore, or it might show you how many over you are. I can't remember in this portal exactly which one it is. So I'm going to give you a tip later on for how to check how many characters you have in an answer before you put it into the portal. But I just wanted to show you that for now. So when I talk about character count later, you'll know what I'm talking about. So you're going to answer all these questions. Again, like on the timeline, remember, they want to know specific things. So they want your activities and your milestones. So include key dates. Explain what your project phases are. Explain what the key activities are, if it's an exhibition or a performance or a published, a goal for where something will be published if you're a writer, right? The financial information, you're telling them how you're going to use those resources. Okay, then the budget, this is a little bit different. You'll have to click here to download the grant budget worksheet, and you're going to fill out your budget on their worksheet, and then you're going to upload it again. That way, when the grant panel is looking at this, they're looking at apples to apples with all the different applicants. So you click here, budget worksheet. On my computer, it sends the file to my downloads. And then if I go into Finder and I go to my downloads, I can see that I have that file here. It's an Excel worksheet. It's pretty self-explanatory. You figure out what category all your expenses are going to fit into, all the things you're asking for the money to cover. And then any other income that you have that's going to contribute to this project that you're proposing. And you save this. And then after you've saved it, you're also going to do save as. and you're going to turn it into a PDF. Okay, so you want a PDF file and save your finished budget as a PDF because that's what they want you to upload into the portal. Okay, so here's the grant budget that was the Excel file, and here's the grant budget that's their PDF. Okay. It's also going to be good to keep things organized on your computer. I'll just show you this too. Here's my folder for the fall grant for individual artists. I keep it in my downloads folder while I'm working on it because each time that I need to get something from the portal, it's going to download into my downloads folder. Now, everyone's computers might be different, so you have to figure out where you would want things on your computer. But it is helpful if you have one folder that you're putting everything into so that you have all your information organized. All right, you also have some other supporting materials that you're going to have to upload. One is a resume or a CV. Now, don't think it like a job resume. I don't think you have to belabor this. What the city's looking for is the record of your artistic practice as a professional. So if you're doing a CV, you want to show the exhibitions you've been involved in for visual artists, the learning that you've done, any awards that you've received, anywhere that you've been published. It does not have to be your full work history from, every job you've had since you were in high school. They're looking for your artistic professional experience. So you'll create that outside ahead of time and then upload it here. And they're also looking for letters of recommendation. So again, you're going to have to ask someone to write you a letter of recommendation and then get it uploaded here. So of course, you don't want to leave that until January 20th. Make sure you're doing your prep work ahead of time. Then you're going to attach JPEGs of your work samples. This is a no-brainer for visual artists. As far as performing artists and musicians, I'm not really sure what you do for that. But so that would be something to ask during that grant workshop that the city is doing. They've given a suggested size. I recommend that if they're making a recommendation to you, you follow those guidelines. Again, it's really important to follow the guidelines. And then I think here's where you can have another letter of recommendation if you need. Okay, now say you sat down to do this and you had 20 minutes and you haven't been able to finish. You have 3 choices down here at the bottom. This will show up every time you're in here. You can abandon completely. It'll clear all your entries and pretend like you never even started. You can save or you can submit. Now, if I try to hit submit right now, it won't work because there are a lot of answers I haven't answered yet. And it's going to show me that I'm not able to submit yet. So, but if I save the application, it's saving it. And now it's telling me that I have not answered this question about the budget. So that's reminding me about what I still need to do. There's actually a lot of questions that we haven't answered yet, but that one is one of the required. Okay. So if I hit continue, it's going to take me back to my application. And if I go back to the dashboard, to my home, you can see now that I have one active request. It's the Virginia Beach Artists Support Grant. And I have an action I can take on it, which is edit the application. If I've finished and I submitted it, it won't say edit anymore. It will say submitted, and then it will give me an option to view it if I want to. So if I click, this would be like when you're coming back later. If I click on edit application, it's going to take me right back into the portal where I was, and my previous answers are still there. Okay. And now I can continue with my application. Now, let's talk about how to be organized and be efficient with doing this. Sometimes it's hard to type these answers into the portal. For example, on this one for the artistic statement, if you're writing your full artist statement, it's going to take more space than is right here. And what you'll end up with is a scrolling bar on the side that you can scroll up and down through, but you won't be able to see your full answer. That bar does not get bigger, that space does not get bigger while you type. So I find it very helpful to first go in and get the questions and work on them outside of the portal in a Word document. And then in the end, I can just copy and paste those back in. The way you do that is this button right here, the question list. If I click on that, it takes me to a PDF that's everything you see in the application portal. The guidelines, here's the eligibility question and the choices, yes or no. The example of what I have for proof of residency, and then how I should save my files, and then the file size limit. And actually in the portal, there's that button that says upload a file, but here it's just telling me what the limit is. So all of the questions are here. And then you'll see, let's go back to that artist statement. You'll see here's the question about the artist statement, and it tells you what the character limit is. So to prep ahead of time, what I do is I copy this whole document. I'm doing command, or I'm scrolling to highlight it all. I'm doing command copy. Then I open a Word document. Let me open a new document. And then I'm doing command paste, and I'm pasting everything in there. So this is now a copy of everything that was just shown on that web page for the question list. And you'll notice these big dark thing blobs. That's just something that happens when it transfers from the website to here. So I can delete those. And then the other thing I do is I go through and I put spaces in and organize this and make it easier to read. Okay. I'm not going to do it with this document here. I'm going to show you one that I've already done. So I have in my folder the question list as a Word document. And now I've organized it to make it easy to read. So here's the proof of residency. I also took out all the answers that I don't need to work on ahead of time. Like I took off my name, my address, my email. Those are things I can just answer. So anything I don't need to do ahead of time, I get rid of. And now I have just my draft list of the questions. So this is something I'm going to have to prepare and get ready for upload. Here's where I can type in my vision, my process, my philosophy. Oh my goodness. Philosophy, etc. I can type all that in, I can edit it, I can do all this stuff, I can see my full answer while I'm working on it. And then the important thing is I can check how many characters I'm typing. In Word, to do that, I highlight the section I'm working on that I want to know about. Then I come all the way to the top up here where it says tools, and there's a tool called word count. So that one little sentence there is 42 characters with spaces. Now I'm using Word for Mac. If you're using a PC, your Word program might be a little different. And if you're using Pages on a Mac, the word count is going to be different. So you'll have to Google that and figure out how to do the word count in the program that you're using. But that's how I do it in my Word for my Microsoft for Apple program. So you can type your full thing and then you highlight that paragraph and check the word count to see if you have the right number of characters. Then you can cut out if you need to, or if you want to add, you can add, that kind of thing. Another thing I do, which is just organizing and helping me, especially when I do a longer grant, is on the things I have not done yet, I change the color to red. Just something you can do in Word. But once I finish those sections, I change the color to green. And that way I know I'm done and I can skip over it. Like if I've worked a few hours today and then I open it up tomorrow, I can, without having to read back through everything, like, oh, that part's done, I can just go on to the next one. So that's a little tip that I do. And one other thing to know is that when you're typing in Word, you can do all kinds of formatting, like bold and bullets and italics and all of that. When you paste that into the portal, none of that's going to convey. The portal is just like plain text. So when you're answering a long question like this one about artistic statement, you might want to start with headings. So you have a heading there, and then use things like um, line breaks and spaces. If you do tab, it won't work. It won't come through. So you need to actually do physical spaces. When I try to do bullets, I do 3 dashes and then 2 spaces, and then I start. Now it won't indent the next, if the line wraps around to the next line, it won't indent it, but then the next one will have 3 dashes and 2 spaces. So it just kind of helps visually make it easier for the people who are reading these applications to read. And the easier you make it on them, the happier everybody is. So what I do is I work through almost the whole thing here, answering all the questions, working it all out, listing, like here, I might list what I'm going to upload for my pictures of my art so that I know when I go to actually put it all in the portal, I know exactly what to go to in my computer to find those things. So I recommend that you work offline like this for a while. And then once you have it all ready, then you can go back into the portal, into the application, and you can just copy and paste your answers right into those boxes. Okay. The other thing too, I'm going to just mention social media and website. I always go to that. Like to put in my social media, I'll open a tab on my computer for Instagram. And then once I'm on Instagram, I'll go to my own profile and then I copy what's up here, so that I'm getting everything for that address. I don't want to just put what the handle is because then they're going to click and it's not going to go to Instagram first and then find you on Instagram. So I highlight this up here and copy it, and then I can come back to the application and paste it in. And then I'm going to do a line break and I'll do the same thing for Facebook to put my Facebook handle in. And if you have more than that, you can add it like a YouTube channel, or if you do LinkedIn, any of those other social media outlets, channels, platforms, whatever. Okay. Um, so that's basically how you work in the portal. And then, of course, as you go, you save your application. And then at the end, when you're ready, you hit that submit button. And then when you're in let's see, when you're here and you have submitted, I think you'll have a button here that says view application. If not, then you have to go back into the application here, and there's a button here that says application packet. That will export to you everything that you've done so far, if you're still in progress, or if you have completely submitted, it will export your full application. And I totally recommend that you do this. When I'm doing a longer, bigger grant, I will do this so that I can read the application and proofread it outside of the portal. But at the very least, once you've submitted, you want to click on application packet. And again, it sent the little file up here to my downloads. And it might be different on your computer. So now I go to my download folder and here's the file. It's called packet.pdf. So I would change the title of that. Let's see, what am I going to call it? Fall 2024. So I changed the title of that. But now this is a PDF of my application so far. And at this point, it's only going to have a couple of answers in there. But it's showing just my answer. Here, it's not showing that I uploaded anything, but if I had, it would show what the file name was. So this ends up showing all the answers that you'll have put in. And that's something that you can save so that a year from now, when you go to do your final report, you can refer back to this to make sure you're seeing exactly what you requested that money for so that you can explain exactly how you ended up using the money. So you'll have that on your computer with all of your information. Okay. That's all I can think of. Definitely do the workshops, sit in on those. That's super helpful. It makes it more attainable and realistic for you to help you, understand what the expectations are. And then finally, if you still need any help with this, I am happy to work with people one-on-one. I'm not going to write your grant for you because I have plenty that I'm working on my own besides this one. But I will help you if you're having trouble figuring out the portal or if you have questions about, I don't know what I should do for my CV. I'm not sure about this or that. If they're questions that are just about the technical side of this, I'm happy to answer. If they're questions about what's allowable and what you can write the grant for, again, go back to the grant guidelines and read them. And then if you're not sure, there is an email on the website, the Cultural Affairs website. I'm just going to go back to that really quick. There is an email on here someplace that you can get help. Okay, so here are the grant guidelines. So it seems like a lot of information, but I would tell you to absolutely read all of this and make sure you understand all of those guidelines, especially this part, what's eligible and what's not eligible. Those are super important. And I think that website is artsinfo at vbgov.com. I know I've seen it somewhere on their website though. Um, but anyway, so I can't stress enough. You have to read those guidelines. I'm just making everybody sick by scrolling through like this. Read these guidelines, make sure you understand them, make sure what you want to do actually fits those guidelines, and do one of these workshops on December 11th or January 8th. And good luck. I hope lots of people will apply. The city just went to a lot of trouble to give us funding for the arts, and we need to show them that we need that funding. Oh, here's the email right there, artsinfo@vbgov.com. So if you have any questions, you can email them or go to those grant workshops. Okay? And good luck. I hope we all knock this out of the park. It's going to be really exciting. This is a brand new thing, and I'm hoping that they'll continue doing this year after year because it's going to be amazing for the city. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to stop the recording now. But if you have any questions for me, you know how to reach me.